Today, we're delving into the less obvious ways we inflict emotional self-harm, exploring thought patterns and behaviors that might be undermining your mental health. We'll uncover common yet overlooked signs of emotional self-harm and provide practical strategies to address them. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of these harmful patterns and the tools to combat them. Ready to shed light on these hidden forms of self-harm and start your journey towards better emotional well-being? Don't miss out on our bonus tip at the end of the video, which will effectively help to tackle all these signs. It's a vital strategy for addressing emotional self-harm, enhancing your understanding and approach. Stay tuned for it. 1. The inner critic. Let's talk about the inner critic. That little voice in your head that never seems to take a day off. You know, the one that's quick to point out every mistake and slow to give any praise. This relentless self-criticism isn't just harsh. It's a form of emotional self-harm that can chip away at your self-esteem and trigger a cascade of mental health issues. Now, how do we quiet this internal naysayer? First up, mindfulness. This isn't about sitting in silence for hours. It's about tuning into the present moment and acknowledging your thoughts without judgment. When the inner critic pipes up, observe the thought. Label it as just a thought and let it pass like a cloud in the sky. Next, let's draft in some positive affirmations. Think of these as your mental pep talks. Instead of letting the critic run the show, counteract those negative zingers with positive, empowering statements. I am capable, I am worthy, and I am strong can be your new go-to responses. Repeat them like your favorite song chorus, embedding these positive vibes into your brain's playlist. By combining mindfulness with a solid set of affirmations, you're not just silencing the inner critic, you're transforming it into a cheerleader. So, next time that pesky voice starts its old tune, switch the track. You're in charge of the playlist, after all. 2. Self-sabotaging behaviors. Ever found yourself putting off tasks until the last minute, or consistently choosing friends or partners who bring you down? That's self-sabotage in action. And yes, it's a form of emotional self-harm. It's like you're the driver of your life car, but instead of steering towards success, you hit the gas pedal towards a dead-end street. So, how do we turn this car around? First, it's about awareness. Start by tracking your habits. Are you a master procrastinator? Do you gravitate towards relationships that feel like emotional roller coasters? Recognizing these patterns is step 1. Now, for the game changer, strategy. For procrastination, try breaking tasks into bite-sized pieces. It's like having a pizza slice by slice instead of trying to eat it whole. Much easier, right? And when it comes to relationships, create a mental checklist of what you value in people. Stick to this list like it's your grocery shopping guide. Changing self-sabotaging behaviors isn't an overnight fix. It's more like training for a marathon, one step at a time. Celebrate the small victories, like finishing a task 2 days before the deadline, or choosing to hang out with someone who lifts you up instead of dragging you down. Before you know it, you'll be steering clear of those dead-end streets and cruising down the highway to healthier habits. 3. Body shaming. Body shaming is a sneaky form of emotional self-harm that creeps into our lives, often disguised as self-improvement or humor. But here's the truth. Criticizing your own body or comparing it negatively to others doesn't help anyone, least of all you. It's like feeding your self-esteem to a shredder. So, what do we do about it? First, recognize that every body is unique. Your body's value isn't measured by its size or shape, but by the amazing things it allows you to experience and achieve. Remind yourself of that every day. Fill your social media feeds with body-positive content and people of all shapes and sizes, because representation matters. It's a constant reminder that beauty is diverse. Second, practice self-compassion. Speak to yourself like you would to a good friend. Would you tell your friend they look terrible today? I hope not. Extend that kindness to yourself. Affirmations can feel a bit awkward at first, but they genuinely help. Stand in front of the mirror and point out things you appreciate about yourself. Not just your appearance, but your strengths and achievements too. Finally, find joy in movement and nourishment without the goal of changing your body. Exercise because it feels good and eat foods that make you feel energized and happy. It's not about punishment. It's about taking care of the home you live in, your body. By shifting focus from criticism to care, you cultivate a healthier relationship with your body and yourself. It's a journey, but every step towards self-acceptance and body positivity is a step away from emotional self-harm. I hope you're finding value in the video so far. Your input shapes our content, so please share your thoughts in the comments. Every like, comment, and subscription makes a significant difference. Thank you for being part of this community. 4. Anticipating the worst. Ever feel like a magnet for bad vibes, always expecting the sky to fall? That's the negative Nancy mindset, where the glass isn't just half empty, it's leaking. This constant anticipation of disaster isn't just a quirky trait, it's emotional self-harm in disguise. Why? Because it zaps your joy and paints your days in shades of gray. But here's the good news. You can flip the script. Start with a simple reality check. When you catch yourself expecting the worst, pause. Ask yourself, what's the evidence? More often than not, you'll find your fears are more fiction than fact. Next, introduce some balance to your thoughts. For every negative thought, challenge yourself to find a positive one. It might feel odd at first, like trying to write with your non-dominant hand, but with practice, it becomes second nature. This technique doesn't ignore problems, but ensures they don't monopolize your mindset. Lastly, embrace a bit of humor. Sometimes the situations we dread end up being minor blips or even lead to unexpected positive outcomes. Laughing at ourselves and the unpredictability of life can be a powerful antidote to doom and gloom. By challenging pessimistic patterns and learning to expect a spectrum of outcomes, not just the worst, you gradually steer away from self-harm towards a more balanced and positive outlook. It's like installing a mental filter that highlights the sunnier side of life. 5. Maladaptive schemas. Think of it as a mental framework picked up in childhood, shaping how you see the world and yourself. But here's the kicker. They're not always accurate and can lead to self-sabotage and emotional self-harm when we carry them into adulthood, like carrying an old broken umbrella that doesn't protect you from the rain anymore. First step, spot these sneaky beliefs. Do you always feel like the odd one out, no matter the situation? Or maybe you believe you must be perfect to be loved. These are clues pointing towards your personal maladaptive schemas. Second step, question and challenge them. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Ask yourself, is there evidence supporting this belief? Would I think this about a friend? This helps to loosen the schema's grip. Third step, create new, healthier beliefs. Instead of, I must be perfect, how about, I'm doing my best, and that's enough. It's like updating the old software in your brain to a better, smoother version. Lastly, patience is key. These schemas didn't form overnight, so they won't disappear overnight either. But with awareness and practice, you can shift from self-harm to self-care, transforming old, harmful patterns into new, empowering ones. Remember, you're not just reshaping beliefs, you're reshaping your life. 6. Recognizing and seeking help. Understanding when it's time to seek professional help for emotional self-harm is a game changer. It's like realizing you've been trying to navigate a maze in the dark and someone just handed you a flashlight. The first step is recognizing the signs. If you find your negative thoughts and behaviors are overwhelming and persistent, affecting your daily life, it's time to reach out. Reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a huge step of strength. Think of it as upgrading your toolkit. You wouldn't try to fix a leak with a spoon, right? For emotional challenges, therapists, counselors, and support groups are your go-to tools. So, where to start? A good first step is talking to your primary care provider. They can provide initial advice and referrals. Online resources are also incredibly accessible, and support groups, both in person and online, can offer comfort and understanding from those who've walked similar paths. Asking for help is like planting a seed for a healthier future. It's about giving yourself permission to heal and grow, with the support of professionals who can guide you through unpacking those heavy emotional suitcases. The journey towards healing isn't always linear, but every step forward is a victory. In a world where being independent is highly valued, acknowledging the need for help is a powerful and brave decision. So, take that step. Your future self will thank you for it. Bonus tip: personalizing negative thoughts. Here's a unique way to tackle those negative thoughts. Give them a persona. Yes, you heard that right. Make them a character, like a cartoon villain who's out to get you with doom and gloom. Let's call him Negatron, the master of doubt and worry. Think it sounds silly? Well, that's the point. By visualizing your negative thoughts as a separate entity, you create a mental distance between you and the negativity. It's no longer a part of you. It's just Negatron trying his usual tricks. Next time a negative thought pops up, picture Negatron whispering it in your ear. Now, instead of accepting it as truth, you can say, "Nice try, Negatron, but I'm not buying it today." Challenge Negatron. If he says, "You're not good enough," ask for proof. Demand specifics. More often than not, Negatron won't have any, because, just like any other villain, his power diminishes when confronted. So, talk back. Equip yourself with positive counter-statements or facts to debunk Negatron's claims. If he says, "You'll never succeed," Remind him of all the times you have succeeded. Write these instances down. They're your weapons against him. By externalizing and personifying these thoughts, you turn a shadowy fear into something tangible you can address and dismiss. So next time, give Negatron a piece of your mind. It's a playful yet powerful way to regain control over your internal narrative. If you related to these signs, you might be interested to explore the root of the problem. Discover 6 signs you hate yourself for a deeper understanding. Or if you're ready to change your mindset, learn how to stop negative self-talk for good. I really hope you found the video helpful and feel inspired to make a change. You're unique and important, so please be kind to yourself.